Our video blog this week is about a very important topic. It's about a very serious topic. It's the city's budget. It's the way you and I contribute into the local public investments here in our community. We all do our own personal budgets. At work we do budgets. But the city budget is important. It's a $3.9 billion budget this year planned for 2021. It shapes how we invest, how we offer services to our entire city, to all of our communities. This year's budget, we can't hide from it. We're in the COVID period. If we go back to last June, we expected a deficit or shortfall in revenues and user fees and charges of close to $200 million here in Ottawa. We've been able to cover some of that gap with provincial and federal funding. There's still $60 million that are being looked at to cover until the end of 2020. COVID has had impacts on all of our lives. It's had financial impacts on all of our lives. Look behind me. We're in the Byward Market, the bricks and mortar, the heart and soul of our small business community here in Ottawa. It's impacted our main streets. That has had major consequences on the way we do business, on our daily lives, and it will shape how the deliberations and budgets need to be looked at for our city in 2021. This coming month, we'll be going through each segment of each committee and debating budgets, so really invite you to participate. We had a really good engagement with our community on the budget earlier in October. Lowertown, Sandy Hill, and Vanier residents participated on Zoom. Great participation. The summary of those discussions are on my website, mathieuFleury.ca. We also had the Urban Caucus, what we call the yearly budget speak. This year's theme was housing, the importance of investments in housing, and that report will be released before the final budget vote in early December. The city's budget is now at $3.9 billion, close to $800 million of investments in infrastructure across the city, and what it means for you is a 3% tax hike. The budget is a large document. I invite you to, if you're interested in transit, if you're interested in policing, if you're interested in social services, childcare, housing, reach out to us. We can share with you those committee dates. We'd love to hear your delegation officially at the city through these deliberations. I'll for sure working with my team and with our community, with key leaders, making sure that our elements are in the budget. What I know so far and what I'm able to share with you is that the funding is in place to finish Montreal Road reconstruction project, which has begun. We have here projects on residential streets in Sandy Hill that will be completed, as well as the residential streets projects in Vanier and resurfacing in Lowertown, particularly St. Patrick and Dalhousie segments. A lot of the other elements, we're seeing funding for our parks, we're seeing funding for trees, we're seeing little Brits, but it's too early to give you a full summary of what that impact will be in our community. We'll do that through the budget process. Obviously, what's hyper important for us is our priorities, is making sure that the priorities that we've identified are reflected in the budget. Of that, there's a number of elements. On my website, in the budget deliberations, you'll see the segment of our priorities that have stemmed and really have a good understanding of emerging priorities through COVID, what's in line with the term of council priority, and what I'm hearing from our community. Term of council priorities are the hyper-focused area where you should see investments and focused investments within the term of council, which is 4 years. Obviously this year it's a little different because we have COVID, but that shouldn't divert our focus from those priority projects in adding a resiliency lens to COVID. What I mean by that is COVID has brought some realities. What can we do to support our local economy, and more than ever invest in the priority projects that are still priority projects within the term of council priority. We have baseline approval projects. When you think about it, we have the housing and homelessness plan, we have the transportation master plan, which is pending and under review, but there's still projects within that. We have the transit plan, we have the energy evolution. Those plans are now approved by council and need to be properly funded. Let me give you an example. In housing, we all know generally housing is less affordable, and in that mind, everyone thinks of their own experience. But let me give you a snapshot citywide. We have 12,000 people in Ottawa that meet the financial threshold to get an affordable unit. They're on a waiting list. We have 2,000 of them that are in our shelters and our motels. That last year has cost us $36 million. To me, within the housing and homelessness plan, what we need to do is ensure that the amount we're spending in the previous year on emergency shelters and motels be matched in new housing investments the following year. So following that logic, last year we spent nearly $36 million of your dollars to keep people in motels and shelters. We didn't give a key to a unit. That's where we need to focus, and that's how these plans need to unfold, is really investing aggressively in what council's approved.